Well, I'm still a member of Congress, so I can't really comment too much on what Matt said. But I will say this,
So wait,
that if
seriously? Are you being serious, or is that
I'm
tongue in
being
cheek?
100%
Okay.
serious, I've been 100% serious. I've been briefed by just about every alphabet agency there is. And I'll just tell you this, if they would release the things that I've seen, you would stay up, you'd be up at night worrying about or thinking about this stuff.
Forces in Iran continue to fire missiles at Israel and reportedly at other countries as well. It might take time for news of the ceasefire to reach all of Iran's fractured forces on the ground, or have they violated this ceasefire already? But if the missiles stop, President Trump will have done it again. Now,
Mike, what are we seeing there?
Well, Jesse, as anticipated, the sirens are now wailing over Tel Aviv, indicating that another missile is inbound. And it looks like those bright lights in the sky are the missiles. And it looks like you can see an interceptor that is in hot pursuit of the missiles. And it's always quite dramatic when you see those interceptors going after it. And these ones might disappear behind our building here, and we're going to lose sight of them. But they're still quite lethal and coming into Tel Aviv. And I didn't see an interception in this case. Should be able to hear it in a second or so. And it's still quite lethal when there's an interception. Most of what we see out here are those cluster bombs.
So he said he was against the wars. You're absolutely right about that, especially against Middle Eastern wars. And he said he was worried that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden were going to take us into World War III, okay? And now what do we have? Ben-Gvir threatening nukes. And by the way, if you haven't heard, China and Pakistan have said that if Israel nukes Iran, they will nuke Israel. So here we are on the precipice of a nuclear holocaust.
Bitcoin's been the shining light over the Iran conflict. I mean, stocks are down. You see bonds going down. You see gold going down. Bitcoin has been flat to slightly up. And I don't know if you can take a victory lap in the sense of over the last year, it's been the opposite. Bitcoin's been down and those assets have been up. But I do think that people are saying to themselves, well, I thought that Bitcoin was supposed to just be kind of beta to the rest of these risk assets. And so if everything else is selling off, why is Bitcoin not selling off? And so I do think that there's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel for Bitcoin investors who have been taking a couple of beatings.
Do you think this was just a Bitcoin winter and we're now in some kind of pseudo summer?
I think that volatility has significantly compressed in Bitcoin. It was, an 80, 90 vol asset. Now it's like a 40 vol asset. It drew down 50%. That's kind of what you would expect in that kind of volatility environment. And I think that there's just a lot of people who hold Bitcoin who say, look, I like it at $60,000+, and the geopolitical uncertainty and chaos actually makes me want to own more Bitcoin rather than less.
More stable than some of these other things you're describing. But at the same time, we've had Kathy Wood and so many other people, by the way, including yourself, I think, who've talked about, I was thinking about
higher prices.
Tom Lee talked about, $500,000, $1 million of Bitcoin. And we obviously have.
Yeah, I think if you look at gold as a good example, people used to talk about $5,000 gold price, and it was at $1,800, and everyone kind of thought it sounded crazy, right? It will get there. I think Bitcoin is a very similar thing. What the time frame is very, very hard to nail down. But what I will say is just look at the compound annual growth rate. If the stock market compounds at 8 to 10% a year, Bitcoin should do something that is multiples of that.
But are you seeing the corporates? I mean, there was a whole argument that corporate sovereigns, this sort of big institutional money, was going to end up in Bitcoin. And we talked about that almost endlessly around this table about a year ago. And that was what was going to drive the price. And that doesn't appear to be happening.
There's two things that have happened. One is I think that there are a lot of countries who are saying, hey, how do I participate in this without explicitly going and buying Bitcoin itself? And so you see them doing things like JVs on the mining side and stuff like that, especially the Gulf countries. But also you've seen a number of disclosures where countries' sovereign wealth funds have gone and taken positions in the ETF. And so I don't think it's, kind of this like chaotic, enthusiastic, hand over fist buying of Bitcoin that people thought they were going to do in their central bank. But I do think that there has been, allocations that we didn't have just 2 years ago. And that, it's kind of like a slowly and then all of a sudden. And I think that's probably what we'll see here.
Okay.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And I come back with that video just to make you think. And make sure you join the Patreons. And we know every Friday we have an event. And that's the reason why it's so important to join the Patreon. So therefore you keep up to date with the NWO events and then know why it's happening. because we are seeing movie after movie. Now, if you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're donating to the Cash App. Also, go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And what I want you to do right now, guess what? It's free of charge. I want you to hit the like button. I want you to make sure that you're subscribed and share this channel everywhere. And now they have it where you can hide the channel. It's right above the comments. And guess what? That also is free of charge. It's always free of charge to support. And we have Representative Tim Burchard on the aliens once more. And they are setting up the Blue Beam Project to perfection. And the technology that they have now, they can make it into a reality. Remember, with quantum computers, you won't be able to trust the eyes and ears. They don't have all those satellites up in the sky for no reason. And remember, the Cryptoteacher tells you. And we have Trump with another 2-week deal. Yes, you can't make it up. We're definitely watching a movie. But we have Iran and Israel still making those drums a beating. And they're going to be riding Armageddon inside of this fourth industrial revolution. Because eventually, China and others are going to come in. And you're going to have the two superpowers collide, United States and China. Where you're going to see the rise of the dragon and the fall of America to Babylon. And they're spending all this money just to distract the people, so therefore they can bring in this beast system. And we know blockchain, Bitcoin is a big piece of it. And when we look at cryptos, yes, they're pulling back. But in any financial downturn, any drums are beaten. You saw all the stocks drop, but then you saw the NWO stocks keep rising. We've seen the movie before, and this time is going to be no different. The NWO stocks and cryptos are going to rise. And remember, AI agents are going to drive the price of cryptos. These cryptos are for the machines. It's not about the retail investors, because they're going to be sitting at home getting a free check. AI agents are going to push the value of these cryptos. And Bitcoin would be a perfect checking account for these machines. And remember, the Cryptoteacher tells you. Now, we know the big banks and big corporations have been funding crypto from the beginning. And yes, we have that well money still in. And again, just because it's pulling back doesn't mean we can't see these big banks and big corporations with their hands all over cryptos. They are building behind the curtain. And over this next year, year and a half, they're going to be pushing adoption. And remember, the Cryptoteacher tells you. And we know on the weekend, we always get entertainment. And this is definitely not going to be any different this weekend, because these drums are beating or taking a twist. Remember, we're living in a simulation. We're just going through the steps in order to get us to this fourth industrial revolution. And we have reports that Iran has broke the ceasefire. So, of course, we're going to get our popcorn, sit back, and let it play out. Again, you're watching a movie. And we keep hearing from Trump, the Department of War, and the Alphabet Boys about all the technology that we have that would amaze everybody. And we know they are telling the truth when it comes to that. And right now, we're living a real-life Star Wars movie. And because our mainstream media is controlled, we actually don't know what's going on. And again, you won't be able to trust the eyes and ears. You have to sit back and let it play out. And remember, the Cryptoteacher tells you. And then, of course, we have the Fed. Now, we know when it comes to the drums of beating, the banks fund both sides in order to get us towards their agenda. And that's the digital economy, the beast system. And we're going to have rising yields globally, and inflation is not going anywhere. And with energy prices moving back up because we have the drums of beating, We know that adds to inflation, and unemployment is about to be on the rise. Don't forget what Scott Bessent stated. They're going to flip the switch on these machines so the productivity goes up. But then we know humanity leaves the workforce. And remember, the crypto teacher tells you, because he knows, when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
The president has just issued a truth social from the White House saying this: based on conversations with Prime Minister Sharif and Field Marshal Munir of Pakistan, and wherein they requested that I hold off the destructive force being sent tonight to Iran and subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran, agreeing to the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz, I agree to suspend the bombing and attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. This will be a double-sided ceasefire. The reason for doing so is that we have already met and exceeded all military objectives and are very far along with a definitive agreement concerning long-term peace with Iran and peace in the Middle East. We received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe it is a workable basis on which to negotiate. Almost all of the various points of past contention have been agreed to between the United States and Iran, but a 2-week period will allow the agreement to be finalized and consummated. On behalf of the United States of America as President, and also representing the countries of the Middle East, it is an honor to have this long-term problem close to resolution. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Again, just seconds ago, before the deadline.
Well, the Israelis, for what they know so far with the details in this 2-week delay in the war, they're not too happy with the details, but they say it's President Trump's decision to make. The Iranian response was to fire another missile at Israel. It wasn't 5 minutes from the time that Truth Social post went up that our phones lit up with another incoming missile. This missile was intercepted over Jerusalem. The shrapnel came down. We've got no word of any injuries. It should be noted that word had gone out through the IDF that we should anticipate a lot of missile fire tonight, and they have not taken that down yet. So that's a situation right now. Sometimes we see here in the Middle East that they will fire one just to be defiant at the end, but it's also possible that word hadn't gotten out to the rocket crew.
As an agency, the CIA possesses unique capabilities that only the president can deploy. Some of these capabilities fall under covert action authorities. And because covert means exactly that, I'm not going to be able to tell you everything that you want to know. At the president's direction, we deployed both human assets and exquisite technologies that no other intelligence service in the world possesses to a daunting challenge, comparable to hunting for a single grain of sand in the middle of a desert. This was also a race against the clock, as it was critical that we locate the downed aviator as quickly as possible, while at the same time keeping our enemies misdirected. For that reason, in addition to the human and technical assets deployed by the president to find our airmen, CIA executed a deception campaign to confuse the Iranians who were desperately hunting for our airmen. On Saturday morning, we achieved our primary objective by finding and providing confirmation that one of America's best and bravest was alive and concealed in a mountain crevice, still invisible to the enemy, but not to the CIA. That confirmation was relayed by Secretary Hegseth to the president, and the operation quickly moved to the execution phase. Following the successful exfiltration on Saturday night, our intelligence reflects that the Iranians were embarrassed and ultimately humiliated by the success of this audacious rescue mission.
We have to be prepared for anything. I mean, this is a very important geopolitical moment coming up. Now, in any case, even let's talk about in the best case scenario, we do get a deal. Oil is not going to come down all the way back to 60 right away. There was damage. There is going to be still some risk premium in the market. But I think more importantly is we're going to have to build up our defense forces. I mean, I think Trump already has a $200 billion request in. It's going to go higher. Fiscal expansion. I don't think we're going to see the 10-year drop below 4. In that case, I don't see the Fed dropping rates. As you know, I was quite forward in advocating that early on. But given these developments, and also given developments where I see bank credit increasing, and inflationary pressures increasing, I think we have to put on hold any cuts. I think it's going to be neutral for a while at best.
We're going to have tremendous workforce availability. We're also going to have robots helping us. We're going to have a lot of robots helping us because we need it. And because we're going to town, we're building a lot between the AI and the auto plants. So we're going to need robots. We're going to have robots, but that's going to help us.
Robots hold steady hands in the operating room, and drones are redefining the future of war. Innovations of first-generation humanoids, factory automation, and autonomous vehicles have surged from private sector investment. Every one of these advancements is powered by AI. The robots are here. Our future is no longer science fiction.
Maybe crypto is actually built for the machines and we didn't even know it. And AI can easily handle private keys and easily understands transaction hashes and like how all this stuff works. It is money that is built for computers, even before the computers to intelligently handle it were built. So I find that interesting. And perhaps those of us who were involved in crypto pre-AI were kind of just like getting the ground ready for the AI systems to have a fully developed financial system handed to them, for better or worse.
This could be perhaps the greatest revolution in financial technology since the birth of the internet itself. Many Americans are unaware that behind the scenes, the technical backbone of the financial system is decades out of date, many, many years out of date. You know that. Paul and others are straightening it out, but payments and money transfers are costly and take days or even weeks to clear. Under this bill, the entire ancient system will be eligible for a 21st century upgrade using the state-of-the-art crypto technology.
And as President Trump has directed, we are going to keep the U.S. the dominant reserve currency in the world, and we will use stablecoins to do that.
I think stablecoins could reinforce dollar supremacy, because with stablecoins could end up being one of the largest buyers of U.S. treasuries or T-bills. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden, if you are using a stablecoin in Nigeria that's backed by the U.S. dollar, you don't actually have to have dollars. It's on your phone. You can transact.
We are going big on digital assets. So Trump administration has made digital assets a priority. I've seen estimates that just over the short term, stablecoins could create $2 trillion of demand for U.S. treasuries and treasury bills. To put that in context, the number is probably about $300 billion right now. We will take a close look at regulatory impediments to blockchain, stablecoins, and new payment systems.
The Department of Commerce is going to start issuing its statistics on the blockchain, because you are the crypto president, and we are going to put out GDP on the blockchain so people can use the blockchain for data distribution, and then we're going to make that available to the entire government so all of you can do it. We're just ironing out all the details so we can do it.
Together, these world-leading technology giants are announcing the formation of Stargate. So put that name down in your books, because I think you're going to reduce the cost of virtually all goods and services. It'll make the United States a manufacturing superpower and the world capital of artificial intelligence and crypto. But with today's announcement, we take a major step to bring healthcare into the digital age. Instead of filling out the same tedious paperwork at every medical appointment, patients will simply be able to grant their doctors access to their records at the push of a button. Just a button and you're all set, and all the information the doctor needs will be immediately transmitted.
Going to a different economy. And we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
If we could tokenize all our ETFs, all $5.3 trillion of our ETFs, and provide that in a digital wallet, you could seamlessly, without fees, going from a digital currency or a stable coin or whatever that may be in your digital wallet and buy bond or stocks. And I believe that is going to be the future.
I believe we're going to be in the cutting edge of tokenizing bonds and stocks.
Coming.
And we have the technology now. The fact that we are now moving forward in tokenization, every bond and stock, is crazy. Yeah. We should be moving towards that frontier. Obviously, there's winners and losers and all that, but we need to be prepared for the tokenization. And it would democratize more finance if we tokenized bonds and stocks.
Cryptoteacher and the new World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID 33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.